Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is Zillafan85, back today doing my latest video. I've got another figure review for you, and kind of in the spirit, since we're, well, currently at the end of September here, so basically getting ready for the Halloween season, and as a sort of a prelude to it, I figured it'd be a good time as any to go ahead and review my Bandai Toho Frankenstein Monster figure. Oh yeah, so definitely was very happy to pick this guy up. I got him at G-Fest, and considering what he usually goes for, I actually got him for not too bad of a deal. We'll go into that a little bit later in the video. So I was definitely happy to add him to the collection. I already do have the, and this is the Bandai Premium, by the way, I should say that. I already have the Bandai Premium Gargantua's figures, Sanda and Gyra. I'll review those at a later date. Definitely will look forward to that. But I figured this one would be good to cover now. Like I said, it's sort of a prelude to Halloween season, essentially. Obviously, as you guys, or if you do remember from last year during the month of October, I pretty much did all like horror-related videos, either, like discussing movies and whatnot, and also figure reviews that were based on like horror type figures, and I'm definitely going to plan to do more of those for sure and whatnot. For sure some horror figure reviews, maybe a couple, thinking maybe a couple movie discussions as well, but I'll figure that out as we get into October. But like I said, this was a prelude to it, so definitely was really happy to add him to the collection. I usually refer to him as Frankenstein Monster, the Frankenstein Monster. You could, just say Frankenstein, believe in the film that he comes from, which is 1965's Frankenstein Conquers the World, or otherwise known as Frankenstein versus Baragon. I, kind of grew up knowing it as Frankenstein Conquers the World, so that's pretty much my go-to with it. But in the film they usually refer to him as Frankenstein, at least in the dubbed version, which is what I'm used to watching. But I tend to refer to him as more of what I consider the proper calling, which is Frankenstein Monster, the Frankenstein Monster. So that's generally what I go with. This is a great figure, and it comes from a movie that I really love. Like Frankenstein Conquers the World is one of my favorite of the Toho non-Godzilla kaiju movies. Definitely, like I said, definitely right up there. Probably my #1 favorite is basically the sequel to this, which is War of the Gargantuas. But this one would be like next in line pretty much, and maybe Rodan after that. But I really love Frankenstein Conquers the World. I think it's an awesome film. Of course, putting Toho's own take on the Frankenstein monster, which he was planned previously. Originally, way back when, I believe, I think it was RKO was going to try to do a King Kong versus Frankenstein. That never panned out. And then when Toho got the rights to to both of the monsters, I believe they pit doing Frankenstein versus Godzilla. But that didn't end up happening. Instead, we ended up getting, in the end product, King Kong versus Godzilla instead. But Toho obviously did have the rights to use the Frankenstein monster, and eventually we did get the 1965 film, Frankenstein Conquers the World. Again, definitely one of my favorites. Really, really loved it. So let's go ahead, though, and jump into the figure review itself here, because I know I'm rambling on, folks. I do apologize. So we're going to start with the paint job. Hopefully, I'm trying something new. I got my camera on the tripod today. I picked this up recently, so doing the best I can with it. Hopefully, it shows up well in the picture. So the paint scheme, very, very movie accurate. I really, I really happen to like these Bandai Premiums, because I think they're limited release, and obviously they're kind of rare and expensive, but they really seem to up their game from the regular Bandai figures. So you can see the paint scheme here. He's got sort of this very dirty tannish skin tone color, like a very, dark, dirty color to it. But it's not really like a human, type skin tone. It's a very, it's just a very dirty looking one. So it's kind of an off tone of skin color, but it's like a dirty tan essentially. So you guys can kind of see that all around him there. They really did a nice job with it on the paint. You've got because he's got like the sort of even more dirty looking hair he's got there, and almost sort of a charcoal or blackish paint. As you guys can see on the hair that he's got on his body. For his loincloth that he wears, which he wears once he actually grows into a large enough size, and you see him towards the latter part of the film. It's like a brown, paint scheme. It's like a darker brown all around, except you have the contrasting like a lighter brown, almost a cream color there and there. So you guys can see that. For his hair, it's like a black color hair, but it's mixed in with a sort of some highlights of brown in there. Make sure you guys can see that there, yeah. See, I have to angle myself differently the way I'm sitting here doing this, because I want to make sure you guys are seeing all this correctly. So do bear with me. Like I said, this is the first time I'm trying one of these with this new tripod that I've got for my camera. So, and then of course, see there again in the face, the white eyes, black pupils look pretty good. The mouth with the sort of off-white looking teeth, and then sort of like a reddish pinkish color mixed in with that in the mouth. That's a little weird looking. It's kind of as far as like the paint scheme goes, it's probably the biggest drawback of it is the mouth itself. But the rest of it looks really good. So you got kind of like a brownish color for his nipple there and whatnot. And again, like a sort of charcoalish color on some of the hair that he's got on his body. So everything looks really, really good. So that pretty much covers it for the paint. Next we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the detail. So again, with the detailing work, you see the scar on his face there. The hair very nicely sculpted in. Really does capture the look that he had in the film. Again, like I said, you got the hair all around his body that they sculpted on here. Obviously it's part of the vinyl, but the way they sculpted it, it really does look like hair follicles that he's got around. As you can see on his arms and of course his legs and what have you. Again, like I said, the detailing for the loincloth really has that sort of furry look to it. It doesn't, not so much feel furry, doesn't have like a furry texture to it, but it does have a nice gruff sort of texture to it. So if you rub your finger on it, you can definitely feel it. So it's not just a smooth vinyl. They did texture it in pretty well there. Again, with the chest detailing and the hair on there. You got the veins on the neck, which look really good. And those, I think I missed before, those are sort of a almost like a grayish, charcoalish paint they use for that. So again, looks really, really good. For the skin tone too, as far as the paint goes, I wouldn't really call it like a yellowish skin. It's more of like a tan, like a very dirty tan looking skin. And not really cream color either. It's not cream, it's not yellow, it's really like a dark, dirty tan. So, but the way that they did that, and you can see some veins, like I said, and muscles, along with the hair that he's got on him, looks really, really good. Again, you can see the Bandai logoing there. The camera cooperates. Be China. And then, of course, the trademark for Toho there. And again, so just having a look all around him. Very, very nice detailing work. And like I said, I really like the way they did the face. The way that they that they sculpted him out looks pretty decent with the way his teeth look all messed up and what have you. It looks good. I just don't like the paint scheme for it, but the detail work definitely looks really, really great. Oh, another thing which I have seen in other reviews of him as well, because the actor in the suit, Haruo Nakajima, yep, Godzilla actor himself, portrayed the Frankenstein monster, because they didn't want his feet to get hurt, so he wore actually like shoes that were shaped like feet, and they actually have like the movie accurate or the suit accurate seam that you can see right there on the ankles for both where the feet would have been, or those boot feet, I guess you would call them. So, but a very nice touch there. Like I said, this Bandai Premium is really, really just a great figure all around, I think. So that should pretty much cover it for the paint and detail, basically. So anyway, the only other thing for detail, like I said, the hands and the feet themselves look really, really nice. You can see the nails, whatnot. They didn't use a different paint for the nails, but it definitely gets the job done. So the only other thing now we'll look at, really, for me, is articulation. He doesn't have too much, really. Nothing in the head, nothing in the feet. The only thing that moves are his arms, and they rotate. You can get them to rotate all the way around, so they do have the 360 rotation in both of the arms. So that's, so it's limited, very basic, very limited articulation, but, still can do some pretty neat poses with them, especially this, really his signature, sort of battle-ready pose that he's got, like when he's ready to face off against Baragon. They do have a Bandai Premium version of Baragon that goes with him, and he's a little bigger than the Frankenstein Monster. I don't have that one. I have the Revoltech Baragon, which is a bit smaller, but I'm happy with it. I love that Revoltech, the Sci-Fi Revoltech Baragon figure that I have. I already previously reviewed that one. So for sizing wise, he's like basically a 6 to 7 inch figure. I'm thinking maybe the 7-inch range. So basically, you have other figures in that range. You'll go with them as far as that goes. But the only thing that's off of the sizing is he's supposed to be a much smaller kaiju than, Godzilla and the likes of them. So technically not really going to stack up well, but certainly just to have him on a shelf, a nice standard size Frankenstein monster figure from Toho, really, really looks great. So I think Bandai Premium really did an awesome job with him. You can get him online. I have seen him on eBay, but usually it's well over $100, maybe even over $150 for him. I got mine at G-Fest, and they had a deal on it. I got it for $100. So considering what he goes for, that's why I said it was actually a pretty good price tag, and I wanted to add him to the collection, so I went ahead and picked him up. But like I said, if you're in the market, and like I said, this is just a really great addition to the collection. Like I said, Bandai Premium, I think, did an awesome job. But other than that, though, folks, I think that does pretty much wrap it up for this video. I would definitely like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.